technology screens. What y'all have seen from my test demonstrations alone, as I said before, we don't have other screen paint products out there doing the same test that we do. We showed off the screen yesterday, which is over there, called the Black Widow, the 38 Black Widow. And even in that demonstration with that screen missing 3 elements from the product, we did a white level test, which is called black versus black, to see if the screen's pulling up a higher black level against black film, black paint, and black material. We've done tests on basically doing an oversplash where we take the screen, we set it up, and we produce a much larger screen, so some of it basically hits the back of the white screen behind us to see where the screen's white levels are going to lay. And these are tests when you're doing dark screens that are very important. You have to show off the screen's comparison of white levels. We do them all the time. Anytime we do demonstrations, we pull up white screens, all kinds of stuff to show at the end of the day that your screen has to be able to pull up a certain white level. And the reason why this is very important, because if it doesn't, then you end up pulling up an image that at the end of the day, that's going to come up so dark that you're going to have these very dirty images that are going to pop up on your screen all over the place. And that's the reason why we do demonstrations on showing off these snowstorms. We do demonstrations on the white wolves, all that stuff. But keep in mind, as you do this, you have to have something up there to compare it to. As we did with the, we just did those demonstrations a couple of days back with the Phantom technology, with the white sheets of paper laying against the screen, against the gray screen, and so forth. And you can see where our product produces a very extremely high white level. So I'm going to show you what happens when you deal with a black and white screen paint product that has a lot of black paint in it to give it that kind of somewhat gunmetal look to it, and the results of what happens if you put it against a white surface. All right, so we're going to have 2 of them up there. We're going to have a gunmetal certified, which is going to be by Elite Screens, and we're going to have the UV. Now, in order for a screen to be in the category of gunmetal, it has to be extremely dark. Gunmetal screens are not charcoal gray, and they're not dark gray. They are actually almost near the edge of black. You can look at a gunmetal screen and go, it's kind of hard to figure out if the screen's black or if the screen's not black. That's how deep dark gunmetals are. If you look at diamonds, if you look at the DMP Supernova, all those screens, when you stare at them, you can easily mistaken the screen for being a black screen, because they're that dark. So gunmetals have a certain color to them. You can't make a screen gray and automatically say, oh, it's gunmetal. No, it's not gunmetal. It's charcoal gray. It's gray. That's what it is. Not even gray. Frankenstein is not gunmetal. Never should be labeled as a gunmetal screen. It's too light. When the Frankenstein gets here and we put it against a real gunmetal screen that we have upstairs that look like they're black, I guarantee you that would be to produce a higher contrast level than that one. But this is not gunmetal at all. And I'm going to show you in some of these tests. We're going to show you right now why, at the end of the day, you got to be careful what you're buying. As we've seen already, in the environments that some of these screens sit in are extremely dark. They're not well lit environments. Why do I have junk on the bottom of my screen? Be in the trash over there. Because, at the end of the day, I can go on and on simply on environments. The environments that I see a lot of these screens displaying are extremely poor. Very dark environments, very poor environments, no light in the environment whatsoever. I wonder if it's nice outside today. I want to get outside and do some demonstrations. Table. And here we're going to be taking a better screen than the one I have over here. Let me put in that one right here. What I like about my shop down here, my shop allows me to be able to move about without basically affecting my house upstairs. It allows me to be able to work in a section where I want to be at. I don't do that stuff upstairs. It's too much. I used to, not anymore, since I got the shop downstairs. Done a little better for me to work at. All right, so this is a white screen. This is ivory white. Did I plug in the fire sticks? Any fire sticks got plugged in? I know my fire stick's downstairs, and I was upstairs. We got 2 remote controls here. Don't tell me you can't upstairs without a fire stick. Let's see, let me check first. Oh, I got one right here. Okay, cool. I always try to keep an extra fire stick down here. Because at the end of the day, you're going to end up, if somebody doesn't properly test a screen that they claim is gunmetal at the end of the day, you're going to end up with a very dirty product on your wall. And you're going to have an issue with white levels. I told you I was going to be doing a segment on basically dark gray mixes. Are you really getting what you're getting at the end of the day? And truthfully, you're not. You would do a much better job if you just go out and get that network gray. Is it network gray? No, it's not network gray. Network gray is too light. It would be that software gray. That's what you would need. That software gray is pretty dark. Let me see what we need to do here. I need to find me a plug that wants to accept the HDMI cable, which is fighting the daylights out of me back here. Here's one right there. All right. Now, notice when I've seen these products that they so-called call themselves launching, I never see any. We try to find people that are matching our test demonstrations. At the end of the day, we don't find anybody matching our test demonstrations at all, period. Demonstrations that the Black Widow did yesterday, there are no gray screen paints or any screen paint products that ever do those tests at all. I don't see them from the door. Now, I don't know certifies, none of that from the door. So no, they don't match our demonstrations, they don't match our videos, nothing. We do a website comparison. I have more demonstrations outside than most projection screen companies have in a year. All right, we're firing up a Chrissy LW501I. Seems kind of nice. Somebody open my door. Some air in here. Let's see what we got here. Detection. We're not detecting. Where are we not detecting? Let's see. Let's see. USB HDMI. Computer one. Oh, we passed it. Do we get HMI too? That's got to be the. Yeah, that's definitely the 3D mapping. That's right. Which I got to turn that off because I had that off for like 4 days. That's HMI one right there. That should be it right there. Yeah, it is right there. Okay. Let me get. This time I can pull from remote controls just in case if I'm not getting the other one. Let's see what we got here. All right, that's that one. Okay, perfect. All right, so this right here is on the Amazon tablecloth. This is why when we do tests on black screens, we show off the white level. It's something that's very important that you have to display. And I explained to you at the end of the day, when it comes to the gray screen paint product, I told you this is an obsolete product. It really doesn't serve a purpose. Those who may say, well, what if we make it darker? If we make it darker, we can basically be up there with the gunmetal screens. Don't do that. Trust me. You're taking a gray and black product and you're mixing more of something you don't want into it. The best points of a gray screen is to stay not to be too dark. Because if you put that black into it, I'm going to show you what's going to happen. It's going to overshadow your screen. So your screen, like I said, anyway, you can't upgrade it. You're stuck. But I'll show you. Let me see. Let's go over. I want to expand my screen size too. There we go. Now we got 5,000 lumens. The reason why we're using 5,000 lumens is because if 5,000 lumens can't get your screen to see a white level, then there's an issue. Now mind you, it's not going to be just his mix because I want people saying, oh, but you're just going after him. No, we're going to be making other mixes too. I got that over there. We're going to make 4 different kinds of mixes. We're going to make them a little darker, a little lighter, but they're all going to be darker mixes. Just to show you at the end of the day, they're all going to react the same way. Now, usually when people are showing off these darker mixes, what they'll do is they'll basically stick to contrast levels because that's where they're fair the best. We're not doing that. You're supposed to do the total opposite. If you notice when we showed off the Black Widow, we did some contrast levels, but we played around a lot in white levels. We showed off our white levels versus black without the heightener in the technology. Oh, that's missing. Good gracious, man. I don't know how people deal with white screens at the end of the day. They give me headaches. They literally give me freaking headaches because the light that's coming off the screen is giving me headaches. All right. Let's go pull up an all white level, because this is what you're supposed to be doing in the demonstration, all white screen.
I wear UFOs because it gives me competitive advantage.
And also I'll show you in the demonstration also where gray screen paint mixers that are claiming at the end of the day, they're claiming at the end of the day, they pull the same level as a white screen. That's bull crap at the end of the day. There's nothing going to pull a white level equal to a white screen but a white screen itself. That's it. Not going to happen. Now let's go over here and let's grab, we need to grab, where's the UV? I just had it in my hand a few minutes ago. Just had it a few minutes ago. Just had it. So what you fall into is the lighter the screen paint mix, the better you're going to be at pulling your white levels. But you're going to lose color and you're going to lose contrast at the same time. All right, so this is our sample sheet of the UV mix right here. Put this right here in the middle of the screen. We'll put this right here, make a different put it at. That's what you're going to get at the end of the day. Because the product that you're putting into it, black paint, does not have the ability to see white light. And some people feel if they put white paint into it, that's going to give them the ability to see white light. No, it's not going to happen. The more black paint you have in it, the more it's going to be overshadowed. Now, let's take a product, ours, which is the Digital One Crystal Screen Paint Elite. This is the last screen paint we made before we decided to not do any more gray screen paint products. This is our product. It's silver. Silver screen right here. Now, as you can see, it pulls up a much higher white level, but the problem with that screen is going to have is because the white level is so high, because there's a lot of white and chemical to make it white, when it comes to color, it's going to basically drop in color and it's going to drop in contrast. I told you, it's a give and take relationship. That's how it works. Unless you have heightener technology, you have advancement technology, you have elements that you can drop into a screen. You can basically build your base from the ground up by not using these products right here, then you're good. Other than that, if you can't build your product from the ground up, then at the end of the day, yeah, you're basically just going to have these awful results. All right, let's go over and let's grab, I think about all dark gray screens are the same. Let's do a certified screen. Let's go to the Dark Star 9. Now, the Dark Star 9 is interesting. The Dark Star 9, and I know they tested their products on white screens because that's what they do. At the end of the day, they're going to go into an establishment. They're going to show them that, hey, look, this is my product. They're going to put it against their white screen. They're going to show an improvement. They always test them. They're going to test on white screens regardless. So let's take the Dark Star 9, and let's stick that right here. Now you see, but we have to make sure the Dark Star 9 lays flat. Keep in mind, they have to lay flat. We need more tape. I got tape on me? I do brought tape on me. Yeah, they have to lay flat. Due to the fact that they don't lay flat and they have little curls on the end, it will come dark around the edges. So they have to lay completely flat. That's one of the things about the reflective surfaces. Reflective surfaces have to lay completely flat to the wall. If not, what's going to happen is any little curve in there, see that little dark area right up in there, the little dark area right up in there, that's to lay perfectly flat. A lot of people, when I watch them do demonstrations, don't do that. They end up cheating in their demonstrations because they don't realize that the Dark Star 9 has a reflective surface and can produce a narrow viewing cone, which means the surface has to lay perfectly flat. Them knowing this would deliberately make sure the screen is buckled out a little bit so it can come out a little bit darker to give the screen at a vantage point. And you know what I'm talking about because I watched your demonstration on the Dark Star 9 and you did not beat the Dark Star 9 in any way whatsoever. Virtually impossible you beat that screen. The reason why you didn't beat that screen, and I'll tell you why. Because in the demonstration that was displayed, now see how nice painter looks, so much better. The demonstration that you displayed on the Dark Star 9 in your product, you made sure you kept it in nice light, in the poor ambient light environment. You always have your screens to begin with. But also notice that when you were doing the demonstration, you kept it next to bright colors because you know your screen would do better on bright colors. Dark Star 9s can produce bright colors, but at the end of the day, their strong points is the ability to be able to pull in a massive contrast level, which you failed to do in the demonstration. You showed no star field demonstrations, no form of contrast whatsoever, because you knew the Dark Star 9 was going to overshadow your screen, and that way you kept away from that. You just kept to those bright levels in a dark environment. Oh, I can't stand when people don't do the demonstrations correctly at the end of the day, I swear. Always got to cut corners. This is why we do demonstrations. The first screen, when we test our screens out, which is right there, that's the Black Widow. When we test our screens out, always in fully lit, maxed out environments. You're not going to see pockets of darkness and little corners. No, we don't do that nonsense at the end of the day. I put it in an environment that a customer is not going to have, the average customer is not going to have the screen in an environment such like so. So we know the screen's going to react well upstairs. All right. So there's the Dark Star 9. We got the UV mix, and then we have our product right there. Let's go over and let's grab the Metallica mix. Put that right over here. And like I said, some of the biggest lies I've seen, where I've seen them take white sheets of paper, they'll put it next to their product and say, look, there's a huge difference. And not really. Not really at the end of the day. It isn't really a huge difference, because at the end of the day, as I explained before, that the gray screen is now the upgrade version of a white screen. That's what it is at the end of the day. It doesn't fit in gunmetal. Where would it fit in gunmetal? Tell me where. Can it pull contrast equal to a gunmetal screen? No. Gunmetals are darker. How is that even possible? What about white levels? Nah, I don't know about that. Gunmetals have that reflective surface, so at the end of the day, they can pull in a heavy amount of white light too on top of that. What about colors? Nah, where would they beat them in colors? The screen, again, pulls a heavier contrast, so that means the colors are going to be deeper. The darker the screen, the more deeper and richer the colors are going to be. OLED kind of proved that one already. So where would they fall at? White levels equal to a white screen? No, not really. White screen is going to pull higher white levels. So if you take the screen paint mixture and you make it lighter to be able to compete with the white screens, and it's not going to be able to do that unless it's physically white, that's not going to happen. That means you're going to start dropping your color and contrast dramatically. So then if you start making it darker, then what's going to happen is you're going to start losing your white levels dramatically, and you're going to end up with that right there. So where do you go? Nowhere. Your product is obsolete. That's why. You got obsoleted when the gunmetal came on the market. That's what a lot of people have to understand. Your product is obsolete. The gunmetal, when the gunmetal showed its face and started presenting itself, you became obsolete. Like when everybody thought the white screen was the best screen on the face of the planet, there was a time, yeah, trust me, it was a time, that the white screen was the best screen on the face of the planet, and then here comes out this gray screen. Here comes Goose Screen. Here comes Gray Wolf. And these companies come and say, look, we got this gray screen, we can produce better color, better contrast than a white screen. Everybody started jumping on the gray screen, and the white screen lost its ability to be the top dog. Now everybody's, at that particular time, 7 years back, everybody was all the rage about gray screens. Everybody was making their own form of YouTube paint. We had people over here making products. It was all over AVS forums. You had Goose Screen making their products. And that's how it was. Even Daylight had a bunch of gray screens. But then, boom, gunmetal popped up on the scene. Now, where do you stand at? You got a screen, because remember, you were the dominant screen due to the fact that you could produce a slightly higher contrast level because your screen was darker. It wasn't about the white level. It was the fact that you could pull better color because your screen was darker. See where I'm getting at here? And because your screen was darker and you could pull better color, that means that you became the dominant screen, because the white screen couldn't pull contrast and color as well as the gray screen could do it at the end of the day. But then you have a screen that comes up that's gunmetal. And gunmetals have figured out a way how to make a screen darker, but to reflect white light at the same time. See what I'm getting at here? All right, so the gunmetal now is the dominant screen, because now it can pull deeper and darker contrast levels and have beautiful, outstanding, rich color. That's why when you go to a store and you go to buy a screen, they don't say, oh, here's a light gray screen, that'll cost you $3,000, and here's a gunmetal that will cost you $800. No, it's the gunmetal that's going to cost you more money, because it's a darker screen. The darker the screen, the more expensive the screen becomes. That's how it works. But then you get people who come on YouTube and have no idea what the freak they're talking about, will sit there and say, oh no, the light screen is a good screen. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's why you're sitting there with a P2 in the dark 24/7, while there's a person on there right now who has a Dark Star 9 who's doing it in a fully lit environment on that projector. And then we'll have ours, and we'll have our demonstrations all over YouTube showing our product, black screen, pulling up in the middle of the day, down here in the max. Oh, we're going to bring that projector downstairs in the macro zone. I'm making 2 of these screens for myself. Down here in the max out zone, fully lit environment. which shows you at the end of the day, the screen that projector was being displayed on was obsolete. There is no purpose for a gray screen. The only purpose for the gray screen is pretty much what you call a bump up. Like if you really can't afford a gunmetal screen, that's where you sit at. You sit where the gray screens are at. That just says at the end of the day, I can't afford any more advanced technology. I have a gray screen. Literally, that's what it means at the end of the day. Your screen is a bump up from a white screen. Because if it was an advanced screen, then you would be able to beat a gunmetal with no problem, but you can't do because you can't maintain the contrast levels due to the fact that your screen's too light. All right, then. I had to clear that up. We want to even before having that discussion. Anybody knows at the end of the day that the darker the screen, the more expensive it's going to be. They'll even tell you at the end of the day, if you're going to be doing 4K, and if you're going to be doing 1080p, it's best to have a darker screen. What's the point of having all that contrast? But I have a contrast level, so you're not going to see that at the end of the day. What do you think? Seriously, you really think you're going to see that at the end of the day? No, that's not going to happen. If that was the case, then you would see a lot of demonstrations of people have these high-end projectors with these massive amount of contrast capabilities doing demonstrations like we do, like outside. But you don't see any, do you? Oh, okay. I was wondering why. You know why? Because they don't pull up. All right, so we got the white level right there. And as you can see, as I told you before, that even gray screen paint products, if someone comes to says, well, we pull the same. No, you don't. Nothing is going to pull a white level equal to a white screen but a white screen. I don't care if your stuff is gray, light gray, it's going to have to be white in order to match a white screen. 4K Snow Screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
You see which screen actually blended in better? That would be the Digital One Crystal Screen Paint Elite. You know why? Because that screen's silver. That screen can accept white light faster than the rest of these screens. I told you at the end of the day, when I explained to you people that when we had the company under Digital One Crystal Screen Paint, we had products that were way beyond everybody else's stuff on the market. That's why we had contracts under our companies. Look at that. I want you to look at this for a minute. That's a dark stern eye. That's a silver version of the Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. Now, mind you, it's a give and take, which means that when we switch over to red, our screen is going to drop the lowest because the higher the white level, which means the product is going to drop even lower when it comes to basically producing color and contrast. But if you're into those white levels, and I don't know why. When it comes to white levels, people have to understand this is what it comes to. White levels are measured if you can still see the screen, pretty much at the end of the day. If you can see the screen crystal clear, whatever, it's fantastic. Your main problem is going to be on the screen is going to be contrast and color. Those are two problems you're going to have the worst. And the other one after that, if you can see your screen, if you turn the lights on, that's going to be another problem. Because if you have a screen that produces nothing but white levels at the end of the day, and that's all you care about, then just go buy a white projection screen. That's all you got to do. Because guess what? You're going to get 24 hours a day white levels, but your contrast and color are going to suck at the end of the day. That's what's going to happen. That's pretty much what you're asking for at the end of the day. I want really high white levels, but I really don't care about the color and contrast. Well, that's what you're getting. Buy a white screen. That's what you're going to get. But if you're talking about you want contrast and deep contrast color, you want deep black contrast and deep rich colors, then guess where you have to go. Darker screens have that capability. No mid-gray or whatever this color is, it's not going to do it at all, period. All right, let's go switch over to Outer Space Screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
Now you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, the UV mix is pulling up a fantastic contrast level. Yeah, that's pretty much all it can do. Because there's so much black paint in it, that's the problem. That's all it can do is pull contrast level. Anything else that comes up with the white levels are going to fail miserably. They're going to come up dirty and they're going to come up dark. You need to have a balance when it comes to your white levels. You can't have too much black in the product. If there's too much black in the product, that means everything is going to suffer. Up close so you can see. There has to be a balance in there. How tricky this gets. So you can't have too much because now that's not enough. And you can't have too much because that's not enough. So let's see what happens. Let's go with TLC 4K demonstrations.
Getting that from YouTube.
There you go. You see what I'm getting at here? Now look at it now. Now look at see how dirty the image comes up. Now you can't watch anything off of it. Oh, well, wait, you can pick up a heck of a contrast level off of it. That you can do, right? But you can't see jack off of it because the screen is so dark. That's why. Do you see the Dark Star 9? See how beautiful the white levels are on the Dark Star 9? Dark Star 9 can maintain contrast levels and it can maintain a white level at the same time. Where the UV mix has too much black paint in it and it comes up looking dirty. All right, let's talk about the gunmetal because we're here about the gunmetal, not about this. This is not gunmetal. At the end of the day, it's not gunmetal. It's right. Make sure we got this in line. There we go. Make sure this is laying nice and flat. These screens are basically using a reflective surface. That's the only gripe I have about the screens they make now is that reflective surface. A reflective surface, I mean, yes, it gives off a higher white level, but at the end of the day, you have the narrow viewing cone effect. Sometimes it doesn't work with ultra short throws. But at the end of the day, no. This is what happens. See how clean the image is here? And see how dirty it is here? That's what happens when you drop a lot of black paint into white paint to try to make a screen darker. That's what happens. Contrast levels are too dark. You have to understand, even when you have a contrast level, you still have to be able to make out the objects in that picture. If the level is too dark, how are you going to be able to make out what you can see? See, that's why I said at the end of the day, I never saw any demonstrations, no test demonstrations on the UV. I've never seen demonstrations on white versus the Dark Star 9 and anything like that, certified gunmetal screens. If you're going to claim your product is the best of the best, you're going to have to test it against these certified screens, especially gunmetal screens. Because these are the screens that'll cost you $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I can take that screen and I can stick it right over there on that Black Widow over there, and that Black Widow will produce a higher color and contrast, everything at the end of the day. It'll take that screen apart with no problem. Showing that that screen over there that will cost my customers around $556 for 48 ounces is a more advanced model than what we have here because it can basically back itself at the end of the day. Your product, on the other hand, no way in the world you'd be a Dark Star 9. Not going to happen. That's the difference between the Dark Star 9's white levels. See how beautiful that image came from the Dark Star 9 compared to your product that came up dirty. Because at the end of the day, you never tested your product. What you did was you took paint, as you usually do, you smear it on a surface, you throw it in a dark environment, you go, look, it's done. Where is it done? That's why you got to be careful about buying these darker mixes, because these darker mixes will ruin your home theater setup. Look at the difference in that. There's no way to, and by doing this, we can also tell two things. One thing we can tell from this. When a product does this automatically from the door, we know what's in it. It's black and white paint. Because if I go back here and I take black and white paint and I mix it and it comes up exactly the same way, we know exactly what's in it. But that's black and white paint. That's why I don't want people to think that, okay, you know, if I go with the gray screens, yes, an obsolete product. What if I make it darker? What if I make it dark like the gunmetal screens? Can I do? No, you can't do the same thing. You can't. All you're doing is just making the problem even worse. It's like trying to put out fire with gasoline. You're just making it worse. And when this individual gives you these ideas like, oh, you can make your own, don't even listen to this joker at the end of the day. It's the same person who sat there on camera and said, oh, well, dedicated screens are better used with gray and silver screens. Yeah, we kind of showed you that one all about. That doesn't work. You don't use silver. You don't use gray screens in those environments. Now, mind, the reason why people still do it is because it's a tradition. They've been doing it for years. Just like there's a reason why there's still white screens on the market. There's no reason for there to ever be a white screen on the market, not ever. But they're still in the market. It's because it's an old tradition. People have been doing that from day one, and they're still going to be doing it from day one until they figure out at the end of the day, you do not put a white screen or a gray screen or a silver screen into a dedicated room setup, because you're going to have light splashing all over the place. That's what's going to happen. We're reflecting everywhere. Just when I showed you, when I walk upstairs, all my screens upstairs are black. My projectors are pretty powerful. Do you see any white light flashing? No, you don't. All you see is the neon, the dark, and my screens. That's what you see. That's what you're supposed to see. And my walls aren't even dark. So if you call yourself at making the paint darker, so you can basically design a gunmetal, oh, it's not harder than that. It's much harder than that. You think it's that easy? If it was that easy, companies like this wouldn't be in business. Anyone can come along and just mix black and white paint together and make it dark. Well, voila, we got gunmetal. No. There's science behind it. There's work behind it. There's faith behind it at the end of the day. It isn't that easy. These are quick fix schemes that tell you at the end of the day, this is how it works. And what they do is they stick you in a dark environment, hype with an overhyped projector, and then they say, look, it works. It works perfectly. This is the reason why we get cancellations at the end of the day. We get cancellations at the end of the day because they know that we're not the everyday customer. We're knowledgeable, and they know what we're going to do with it when it gets over here. That's why. But there you go right there. Let's go over to, let me see. 4K snow screensavers.
Getting that from YouTube.
Now see how the white levels are going to be higher on the gunmetal, because the gunmetal has the ability, see how it reflects light? Because it has that reflective surface. Watch what I'm coming back and forth. It has that reflective surface. But if you look at Crow's product here, look how dark the image came up. And companies aren't stupid. At the end of the day, they know if they take a screen and they make it darker, that the white levels are going to drop. So they have to have something there to make the screen be able to generate and accept white light. That's where the reflective surface comes in. This allows the screen to be able to accept white light. If you take the everyday gray screen paint product, the more black you put into it, this is what you're going to end up with. I told you when the UV mix came over here, it was absolutely horrible. Horrible. It was pulling up, the levels were coming up so dirty at the end of the day because it just could not accept white light. And I was like, this is nothing more than just black and white paint. We actually made it. We made a version of the UV paint. We used his tutorial video. We did a reversal. So a reversal means instead of basically starting off with the white base, you start off with a black base because you would use less black paint. So the reversal is you start off with a quart of the black paint, and we put 6 tablespoons of white paint, and we matched the UV. That was the UV, 6 tablespoons of white paint into a quart of black paint. Came out exactly the same way. Reacted exactly the same way. That's why you have to do these tests, people. That's why these tests are very important. No screen paint should ever launch in a day or 2 days. Talking about final test. Final test where? Unless you're knocking all those tests out one day, which we've done before, and you can show backup of you showing you knocking all those tests out. But other than that, I don't see any of those tests being done. This is what you're going to end up with. A screen that can't accept white light at the end of the day. This is gunmetal technology by Daylight Screens. You see how dark the daylight is? Daylight's a very dark screen. When I first saw the screen, I literally thought these were black. But you see how dark that screen is? That's Daylight Screen right there. That's why I sit there and say, there is no way in the world. I got to make sure these screens are in line with the camera. Because like I said, these screens have what they call that narrow viewing cone effect. So you have to make sure they're in line with the camera. That's how it works, people. So you can see that's daylight screen right there. That's a $5,000 projection screen. Over here, you have a $3,000 projection screen, and there's Crows UV Mix. How are you calling your stuff gunmetal at the end of the day? Because gunmetal at the end of the day can accept white light. He figures, okay, he make a darker screen to give you darker contrast levels. Yeah, you can pick up darker contrast levels, but your white lights, your white levels are going to suffer badly. I told you at the end of the day, I was going to test your stuff against certifieds. We test against certifieds all day. You should be able to pass something by the end of the day. Let's take off the Dark Star 9. And let's go with just daylight screen. There is no way in the world that your product ever beats any certified screens. Not with basic black and white paint. Now mind you, his stuff matches Sherman Williams at the end of the day. And yes, you still match the tablecloth at the end of the day. You do. Because that demonstration, keep in mind, you don't do this in the dark. This is supposed to be done in fully lit environments. Anytime you watch somebody do a demonstration, people, it has to be done in a fully lit environment. The reason why they do it in the dark like that is because it gives their screen a bit of an advantage point. If this screen has a hard time struggling in a well-lit environment, then they're going to put that screen in an environment that they're comfortable with. They're not going to be out in a well-lit environment knowing that their contrast levels are going to wash out, colors are going to wash out, and the certified screen is going to basically be able to produce a better image. So no, you didn't beat that screen. You didn't even beat that one. Well, you didn't. I don't think you ever tested against daylight screens. We do daylights all the time. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm going to come out of here and get me another one. Let's go to this one right here. And this is gunmetal. They're both gunmetal screens. At the end of the day, your product is not gunmetal. Really got to stop misleading people on that. It's not gunmetal at all, period. This is gunmetal. Gunmetal screens can accept white light, contrast, and color all at the same time. As a matter of fact, they actually accept white levels even higher because it's a gray screen. Technically, it's not a black screen, it's a gray screen. So it does have a bit of a vantage point of accepting a slightly higher white level depending on what black screen they're going against. Our technology produces amazing white levels, which means we can take out gunmetals easily. But toward white levels, you're talking about a gunmetal versus a black screen. I can't say on this one yet because we haven't even engineered the heightener for it. But I do know the fact that the gunmetals we develop over here have a slight edge over black screen because they can produce a slight higher white level. The fact that your screen is that dark and your white level is that dark shows at the end of the day your product is nothing more than black and white paint. That's it. You should be picking up a very high white level. Remember, I did this demonstration against the UV Mix versus the Phoenix. The Phoenix is a jet black screen. How is it possible that the Phoenix can pull a star fill demonstration, of course it's black, which is going to be much higher than your product because your product is gray, but at the end of the day, the Phoenix can pull a higher white level than your product. Now, if you don't believe me, I'll post those links below because you know Mr. Bird does tests and Mr. Bird backs everything up. We have test demonstrations for everything. Just like now, we're doing right now. If next week, if someone brought this up, bam, here you go. Here's a test for it. I told you I was going to go back and do these tests on these fake gunmetal screens. When you talk about the Frankenstein is gunmetal, no, Frankenstein is not gunmetal. Even when I look at it, it's not even dark enough to be a gunmetal screen. It is basically either charcoal gray or it's gray, a dark gray. That's it. But it's not gunmetal. You gotta be back your work up, man. I don't like people getting to their jobs at the end of the day. You gotta back your work up. It's very important. Can't do fake demonstrations. Fake demonstrations will end up biting you in the face later on. Like I said, when I showed you all those cancel orders, oh, they don't cancel against other customers because I'm not your everyday customer. I'm the guy who will test your stuff at the end of the day. That's the one customer they hate the most, is the one that will challenge their stuff, challenge their theories. Your theories are crap at the end of the day. I'm sorry, but they are. When you look at your demonstrations, even your environment is crap. I'm not talking about his house or anything, not like that, no. I'm talking about his environment is crap when you show up your projectors. It's too dark to begin with. Even that demonstration with the open door and the window. How do you call yourself pulling in all this ambient light, but yet your corners where the screens are black? Even the neon light is basically illuminated in those areas because it's dark. You know, for neon light to actually work, physics of light, you have to have a dark area in order for the neon light to illuminate. It can't reflect off anything if there's white light in the environment. And the fact that those black lights behind your cabinets were picking up that well, and when you go peek over in your corner, I don't know how you didn't see that. You go lean over in your corner is jet black over there. How do you not see this? But you keep pointing back at the door. Are you not seeing what everybody else is seeing? That's what people are saying on the forum. Say, why does he keep pointing back at the door? Why is he pointing back at the window? Does he realize that the corners that he's displaying near the screen are dark and you can't make out objects? The fact that you had to lean that close over to an object to show exactly what it was. And still, it was just a brief shadow of what the object was. Your environment is supposed to be well lit. You see how you can see everything on my table, Sonic, the guy from the Ghostbusters, and Mario Brothers Cube. You see all that on my table, crystal clear. I should never have to do this. Can you see that? Anybody can do that. Come on now. Realistic environments. That's why I said, people, at the end of the day, you basically are taken by that. Guess what? I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. If you're easy to be that suckered, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I will sell to you right now. You give me $10,000, you can have the bridge. You can rent it out every week. It's yours. And you do know that was one of the biggest scams in New York City. People actually literally were renting out the bridge. I'll look up the history on that one. That's an interesting one too. But where in the world would you even think at the end of the day that someone would rent a bridge to you? But then again, like they said, there's a sucker born every minute. So, hey, this is why we have all those cancel orders sitting on the table. This is what I showed you. Usually when I show the cancel orders, I show them, but I did it one by one. Well, not all of them. Crows, we had too many for Crows. Crows has 15, it's a lot of them. But it just shows you if you can't back your product up at the end of the day, why would people support your product? That's like you selling brakes for cars and you can't basically, you don't support your brakes for your car. Who would buy that? No, your product, gunmetal, is fake. Gunmetal can accept white light. A good one can accept white light. Let's go over real quick. Let's go over to, what's the good one? Let me see. I'm gonna go to the Snow Dogs. Get Snow Dogs on here. Oh, they have the Christmas cottage. We can take that one right there. See how bad that's coming up? There's a reason why that screen costs $5,000. That's why. Now, this is the same screen, mind you, we just stuck on a Widow yesterday that couldn't see color. When the Widow could pull up red, blue, and green, and that screen couldn't see color. That screen couldn't see contrast levels next to Black Widows. Which means at the end of the day, we have a technology over here that my customers, like I said, will pay $556 for 160 inch on a screen that can actually take on a $5,000 projection screen. Think of the margin, think of the price range there. $5,000, $556. Ultra short through compatible, not ultra short through compatible. We can use those ultra short through, they don't work because of the reflective surface. There's a special screen for that one. Take it outside. You're not taking that outside at all, period. They have a screen right there set up for outside use. That's not going outside. And your screen size goes from 100 inch to 160. So if that screen is $5,000 for 100 inch, what would 150 inch cost you? There you go. And he wants to get upset and get mad. Well, his product sell. Well, the reason why my product sell for that kind of money, because I can back my product up at the end of the day. You don't do tests. Your screen can't even take on a $5,000 projection screen will level your stuff. Now, what he'll do is in his demonstrations, this is where he like to cheat. He'll take a light product and says, look, I put a light product. No, you can't do that, buddy, at the end of the day. It's gunmetal versus gunmetal. That's how it's done. You got to take that. When we do the lighter screens, it's just to show those screens being black, because black screens are told that they can't pull white levels. They show we had a black screen that can pull up a high white level next to white screens and silver screens. That's just to display that. But if we're doing a one-on-one, side-by-side challenge, those screens are all going to be dark gunmetals. The darker we can get, the better we can get. So we can get an even challenge. That's why we throw black paint up there. That's why we throw black fabric up there. So we can see exactly what happens at the end of the day. I do not see you doing demonstrations of again, like I said, you did the tablecloth, but the tablecloth was a complete fail. You're in the dark. You have to be in a fully lit environment to do that one. So that has to be done again. But has he done it again? Nope. He's going to take what he can get and run with it. And you still have to do the Sherman, Williams, and all this stuff we have to test. You have to do the same thing. How do you have this on the market for sale and it looks like this? If your product is you claim to be the best of the best, it should be to beat this right here at the end of the day. Because this is a heck of a screen right here to take on. It is. Can't give yourself a label to be the best of the best, and you haven't even beat that screen right there, which is pretty much beating the living daylights out of you. Let's go with, let's see. 4K demonstrations.
Getting that from YouTube.
We're going to go back to this one right here again. So the problem is when they do these demonstrations, they do these on standalones, which means there's nothing there to compare the screen to. That way they can say, oh, my product works. No, you have to do this against certifies. This is why I said at the end of the day, you should have as many certifies as I do. Now, how in the world is it possible? You call yourself beating a Phantom? A Phantom knocked out over 18 certified screens and you can't even beat one. But like I said, they like to cheat. You got to be careful. So what they'll do is they'll take the lightest screen they got and they'll put it against the gunmetal. And they'll say, look, we produce the same white levels they do. That's what they do. Like the Darkstar 9. And I forgot what screen paint it was, but it wasn't one of these. It was a lighter screen paint. And they'll say, we produce the same levels. But they will never show the contrast levels. Because if they showed the contrast levels, the Darkstar 9 would have beat the living daylights out of that screen with no problem. The fact that the Darkstar 9 being as dark as it was, and being able to still produce those white levels next to your screen with no problem, why didn't you show the contrast levels? Why didn't you do that in a fully lit environment? Because the Darkstar 9 would have maintained its image in a fully lit environment, maintained its contrast levels. At the same time, your product would have washed out in a fully lit environment, and you wouldn't have pulled the contrast level for jack. That's why. You faked your demonstrations. That's why I tell you, at the end of the day, when you're watching demonstrations, fully lit environment only. Has to be done in a fully lit environment. Unless he's expecting for you to have the same environment he's going to have when he's doing the demonstrations. And how many people are going to turn their house into a cave at the end of the day? Now, when you do this demonstration, if you decide to do it, which we know you're not going to do it, but if you decide to do it, you go get daylight screens, you can order from them, and you do this against the dark technology you have here. Well, dark paint. When I say technology, paint here. If you're going to do it against a light paint, then don't forget the contrast levels. Man, I tell you, buddy, you got to watch yourself. At the end of the day, one of these companies going to drag you into court one day. Because if you can't back up your product, or we challenge them every day. We tell them, look, hey, Anytime you guys want to, send me over an NDA. Let's go do this because I know at the end of the day, my product will easily be to take this on with no problem whatsoever. But if you're doing these fake demonstrations where you're basically doing light screens with darker screens to produce higher white levels, and then you refuse to show the contrast levels, you're just rushing through videos, they're going to take you down to court. They're going to take you to court, and they're going to basically run you through the whole 9 yards. Just like I'm doing right now to your product. If you can't beat that product, then that's slander at the end of the day. I, on the other hand, I can beat their product with no problem. I can say that crystal clear. Anytime they want to, you send me an NDA, we'll sign it, we'll go down, we'll do this. Got no problem with that. Let's get good to go. Oh, Sony 4K demonstration.
Getting that from YouTube.
You see the contrast level pulling up on that screen? Look how clean the contrast level is. I love this. This is what I love about certified screens. I love their technology. This is what I'm talking about by a challenge at the end of the day. Your stuff is not a challenge. I'm not trying to be rude here, Jamie, at the end of the day, but your stuff is not a challenge. I roll over your stuff, man, like I roll in my sleep, man. Your stuff is so easy to take down, it's not even funny. This is a challenge. Do you see how beautiful this screen is? See how it's maintaining the contrast levels and white levels all at the same time? Now look at the UV mix. See how the UV mix is coming up dark? Look at it. Look how dirty the white levels come up on the UV mix. Look how dirty the levels come up. But you're talking about this is a beautiful screen. That's why I love challenging certifieds. The certified screen is a challenge for us. That's why I said at the end of the day, do you have any idea how much my technology is worth? It's worth quite a lot of money. If I decide to sell out, you have no idea. Because this screen right here that you're watching, destroy his screen, we can take it out easily. And anything I got in this house would take this out with no problem. So you're watching our technology when we do 18 screen certifies, 6 ultra sure throw certifies, and fully lit maxed out environments. And you're watching our technology. You have any idea how much money we can get for our products at the end of the day? The fact that we charge only the 500, well, that Black Widow over there is freaking, it's amazing. But the fact that the prices that we charge for our technology, you know, at the end of the day, that you are painting a technology on your wall or wherever you're going to put it at, that is more advanced than a certified screen that would cost you $3,000 to $5,000 and more. This shows the value of your product. Your product, I mean, this, like I said, amazing screen right here, but this right here, no. Clean. Look how clean that is. That's so clean. I love that. Look how dingy and dirty it looks here.
There's more to caring than fast medical attention. Just like there's more to a broken arm. There's a family getting back to biking together. Because helping you get back to what you do.
I see even the white levels on a gray screen are going to drop. There's no such thing as any gray screen is going to produce a white level equal to a white screen. Virtually impossible. They know it's going to drop. But the main thing is basically to get the screen to maintain a balance in the white levels so you can actually see the screen crystal clear, as you're seeing right now. Now look at Crow's product on this side. When he sits there and says, oh, but, you know, his dark technology is a little darker. No, duh, freaking Einstein. Every gunmetal screen has that. They slightly drop a little bit. But you can't see white light on your screens. See how the reds, look how the reds pop. And see how they're dirty and dingy here? There you go. That's the reason why that screen costs $5,000. And I know these guys at the end of the day did their homework. I know they tested their products against all different forms of mixes, whatever I'm pretty sure they did. It wouldn't shock me if they didn't. Colors, you can't see colors. You need white light to accept colors at the end of the day. So if you just watched the Black Widow yesterday, and we're going to do the Phantom on this too, you just watched the Black Widow be able to produce higher colors than a $5,000 projection screen. That means a Black Widow, as dark as it is, does have the ability to accept some sort of white light, even though it doesn't even have a heightener installed into it yet. So what you're doing is when you take these products, these darker products that don't do these tests at the end of the day, versus certified, versus white screens, when they rush these products, you are basically painting mud on your screen at the end of the day. Because that's how the UV mix displays. And just so people know, this is your product. We got the unboxing video that goes along with it. This is you, right here. It's your product. That's how dark it comes up. Now, to be fair, like I said, to be fair, we're going to make other mixes, other gray mixes, just like that, darker mixes too. And we're going to show you that no matter what you put together, you're still going to end up with the same dirty image. These are the options that you have with gray screen paint product. I said before, it's an obsolete, it's a 7-year-old product. It's old. It's outdated. You have a dinosaur sitting on your wall with your new up-to-date projectors. The gray screens can't see color and can't see contrast. They pick up a white level, but the white level is never going to be equal to a white screen. We already showed the demonstration with the gray screen paint products, with the motorized projection screens. It's pretty bad if you have that at the end of the day. The darker products, if they put more black paint, because some people may think, okay, well, it's a lighter mix. What if I put more black paint into them? What if I make it darker? Yeah, go ahead and make it darker and see what happens. Because now you canceled out the white light. It can no longer accept white light. Now your images come up dirty. Colors come up dirty. White levels come up dirty. Oh, you can maintain a contrast level, yeah, but everything else is going to be filthy. It's obsolete. The gunmetals took over that. When the gunmetals came out on the scene, they had a screen that could produce contrast levels, color, and white levels because they figured out a way to accept white light. It obsoleted the gray screen. What's higher than gunmetal? Black. There you go. That's why we can take that same product, stick it over there, and produce the same color pattern and produce better color. There you go. I need to get one of those slideshows and let's go get me another video. Let's get it over here. There's a thing called clean contrast, where your levels are not so, it gotta be black. Yes, it has to be black, but it can't be to the point where it's so black that you can't even accept white light, because white light is going to be needed to add color and detail to your image. Voila. That's the thing I can't understand when people sit there and say, well, those individuals sit there and say, oh, he just talks trash behind camera. No, buddy, I can back it up. I can take the same bull crap that you spewed out on YouTube, come back in, show a video, and explain why you're wrong in the demonstration, why showing the video at the same time. You know why? Because I've been in the business longer than you have. I know more than you both know at the same time, at the end of the day. I watch you and I listen to your presentation, just blah, 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 blah. You don't say anything that has any kind of real kind of a solid foundation attached to it. You giving out knowledge is the equivalent of building a house on sand. No foundation. Like that whole theory about the whole, you can't paint a motorized projection screen. Motorized projection screens don't count. Are you kidding me? We just painted a screen like 5 times. We rolled over it 5 times just for the sake of it. And again, we're not going to go down that road. We already know the theory behind Partey's empty theories on home theater projection. Neither one of them know nothing at all. And these people, you had people buying this product and painting this mess on their screens and messing up their theater rooms with this junk. That's the sad thing about it is people bought this stuff, painted it on their screens. Look at that. That's horrible. The freak. This is why we do certified tests to do the challenge. I told you at the end of the day, we don't get no challenge from them at the end of the day. What challenge? It's black and white paint at the end of the day. What challenge would I get from their product at the end of the day? My challenge comes from these guys. This is why we have so many certified screens. You watch me on camera walk up and throw certified. We need more room. Certified. You watching this throw certifieds against my screen. Color change out. White level contrast. Y'all can't do that at the end of the day because your product can't match a certified screen because your product has either too much black paint into it or it has too much white paint into it It's obsolete. Ooh, let's go check out the beautiful flowers. If you bought that stuff, and you painted that stuff to your wall, ugh.
I mean, Jen and Reese, Tom Holland, Momoa, Snoopy, literally everything.
I don't want people to think that, okay, so the gray screen paint products are obsolete. Let me go put a more black paint in here and let me see if I can basically get a gunmetal screen. No, when screens get darker, it's more complicated. It gets more and more complicated. Let's put it that way.
Mountain Dew Sparkling might hypnotize you.
The daylight screen, yeah, all these screens I got behind me, like I told you, they're amazing screens. I told you at the end of the day, the technology is amazing. Next to ours, they can't hold a candle next to our technology at the end of the day. You're dealing with a jet black screen. Even our gunmetal screens can take these out. Even, I got screens that are different colors. Mind you, every last one of our screen paint products that we have ever designed or made have been tested on certified screens. I don't see you doing these tests. And the reason I can see why you don't do these tests at the end of the day, your product wouldn't pull. That is really bad. That just shows there's too much black paint in there. A lot of black paint. Ugh. See what I mean? So at the end of the day, if you get the idea of, hey, look, and mind you, when we made the black mixtures, we made about a couple heavy black mixtures that we put against our own screens. We put a disclaimer at the bottom, do not paint this onto your screen. We put the ingredients on how we made the UV mix. Disclaimer, don't put this on your screen. At the end of the day, you will mess your screen up. Mind you, again, my projector behind me is 5,000 lumens. A 1920 by 1200 Chrissy projector. If 5,000 lumens can't bring that to light, then you got a problem on your hands. Because that's a commercial projector behind me. That's not your everyday home theater projector. If a commercial projector can't bring white light, because some people think at the end of the day, okay, what if and companies think this way too, what if I paint the screen and I get like a 7,000 projector? You're still not going to be able to see crap at the end of the day. It can't accept white light. You can't make something accept white light if it can't accept it. There's clean contrast and there's dirty contrast. Clean contrast can see white light. Dirty contrast can't. If you're not testing your products and you're constantly sticking them in dark environments, doing that dumb nonsense at the end of the day, yeah, you're fooling your customers at the end of the day. You're not doing any certified screen tests next to your products. You're not doing any white level tests with white screens and white fabrics and anything. Even if it's white notebook paper at the end of the day, at least it's something to compare the screen to. It's white levels. I think when Daylight did their demonstration, I saw the demonstrations against a white screen, but I never seen it against dark screen paint. Good job. They did a real good job on that screen. It's definitely worthy to be in our stack. I told you, in our stack, we only want the best of the best when it comes to gunmetal, and it's definitely worthy to be in there. So at the end of the day, if they feel that we're tarnishing, no, we chose your product because it's the best of the best. That's all we want. When we test against this new screen over here, that Black Widow, we only want the best to go against that screen. Black Diamond, if you decide you want to throw your hat in the ring, you let me know. It's not to embarrass your products in any way whatsoever. It's just to see exactly how you stack up. See what I mean when I said bye? I showed you those red levels. Very important. You got two forms of contrast. You got clean contrast, you got dirty contrast. Clean contrast can accept white light and black light at the same time. Dirty contrast only accepts black light. This is not to put them down in any way. This is to teach them at the end of the day, man. You can't just make these fast, quick fix products. At the end of the day, man, you really got to test yourself at the end of the day. Your customers should be seeing tests like this. Not you being in the dark with the camera sitting right up on the top, kissing the screen, talking about, look at the color and contrast. No. You need to go out and order yourself some certifieds. Get them in there. You need to go get that Sherman Williams. Show there's a difference between your product. We do that with black paint all day long. I just did that against the screen over there that we basically just made. It's not even finished. And we did a black on black test against it. So what is the difference between your product and Sherman Williams and all the other great products out there on the market? We got demonstrations of us drawing into screens, making product. I've painted screens so many times, black screens with done against our product. It's not even funny. Fabrics, t-shirts, hoodies, film, you name it. We've done it. You do one tablecloth demonstration and it wasn't even done correctly. In the dark. No, fully lit environment. Light that area up. At the end of the day, you got to think of the mind of the customer. The customer is not going to be in that environment. I can do dark demonstrations all day long. Bring in high-powered projectors. For what? So a customer can come and go, gee whiz. It's a $5,000 projector. He's sitting in a dark environment. His projector's calibrated. They're not relating to that nonsense at the end of the day. You did the exact same thing that the big companies do. Same thing. My customers come like, oh, $270 projector? Fully lit environment? 720p? What the freak? That's what they see. The difference between my product, you and Partays, look at our websites right now. You go onto my website right now, the first thing you see is all our screens demonstrated outside. Massive amount of slideshows, video demonstrations, test levels on just about everything you could possibly think of. What are they still on yours? Dark environment, dark environment, dark environment, dark environment, dark environment, dark environment, dark environment. Same projector, same projector, same projector, same projector, same projector. I still got more stuff to load on the website. We got a section on there. We're going to do art. We're going to show off screens, customized screens, showing people how to use our products to do more. Think outside the box. As a matter of fact, it's going to be on the do-it-yourself page, which I got to design today. So we're putting a do-it-yourself page on there, and people have been asking, okay, how do you guys put this together? Like the soundbar. Right there. So that soundbar right there, you can actually build that. They got them on Amazon for like $64, and these things are tiny. I'm like, I'm not paying the money for that. I'll build my own. And that's what I did. And that thing is freaking amazing. That's when you see me playing the game, it starts flashing with the lights back and forth to the music and everything. Yeah, you make it yourself for much cheaper. All those crazy builds we design, when we design these crazy looking projection screen setups and stuff. Yeah, I can show you how to make a stand for your motorized projection screen. That will allow you to take if your motorized projection screen is not weatherproof, it'll allow you to take it out of the stand, put it in your house. Man, all kinds of stuff I can show you how to design. That's what we're gonna have to do-it-yourself page. How to make your own projector stands. So if you don't buy a projector mount, we can show you how to make your own. And wait till you see the screen I'm building for the P2. Oh, that thing's gonna be detailed as I don't know what. It's gonna have a 3D frame. I'll show you what I can't explain to you what the 3D frame is, I have to show it to you. Just like when we built this thing. Oh, we got to do a test on here too. I forgot. This is I used to have 126-inch Elite screen, and I got rid of the Elite screen. I got rid of all the aluminum screens in the house. We said we're not going to buy any more aluminum frames. From now on, we're just going to build or paint to the wall. That's what we're doing. So this one was actually built. This screen is actually freaking amazing. It took quite a lot. It was a pretty interesting build to put it together. But the fabric that you see on this screen, the reason why it looks so flat to the surface. So flat that looks to the surface is the reason why. There's a trick on how to make fabric as stiff as a board and lay perfectly flat without any wrinkles or imperfections, nothing. And it has something to do with the SW Network Gray 773. It's a little trick. That's what I'm actually designing my same screen upstairs for the P2. I'm designing the same with the same material, the same setup. Same thing. On how to prime a screen to make it look like it's super flat, but it comes down to the surface. The surface gives you the ability to do that, and it's a special surface that does it. And that's the stuff I want to show you how to do at the end of the day. But this is my gaming screen right here. As a matter of fact, this screen I want to take, and this is no disrespect to Elite screens in any way, but the screen we used to have here, we replaced it, and this is the screen I built. I built my own screen instead. I got rid of a $580 edgeless Elite screen for this one. So we're going to take the Darkstar 9, which is a $3,000 projection screen, put it against this. This has gamer paint attached to it. This is not black, it has gamer paint. To see if the gamer paint can basically match or overpower the Darkstar 9 at $3,000. Now, mind you, like I said, if I had paid for, if I got the screen for like $580 or whatever, remember, you get to choose what kind of material you want to put on it. If I put a Darkstar 9 on, my screen would jump to $3,000 automatically from the door because Darkstar 9 start off to $3,000. 126, yeah, it would have cost me maybe 6, 7, maybe at the most, because remember, 100-inch of Darkstar 9 is about $3,000. So my screen was 126-inch. So let's see. So since this screen replaced my Elite screen, my Elite screen was white that I had on here and coated with our technology. But what would happen if I put this against the Darkstar 9, which I'm curious, we got to do that one a day. And that jumps the value of my screen up, right? Anytime we test against certifieds, we jump the value. We already did the test. This screen already did the 10 screen test already, but I still want to go back again and do it again. All right, let's get something else real quick. We want to make sure we're not going over time here, people. Let me see. Because I just want to make sure that you understand that, because if someone tells you at the end, okay, well, maybe our lighter mixes so and so and so, but we do have darker mixes. No, don't believe in that nonsense. Make sure they do these tests first before you smear that stuff across your screen, because you can end up with a very dirty image at the end of the day. And this is one of their favorite demonstrations. When they show off the contrast demonstrations, they love to lean toward the jazz demonstration. They do. They stay away from the white levels at all costs. Let's get this one right here. That's literally what you're doing to your screen. That's why I said these mixes are not tested. These gray mixes, And I sat there and said it right there on camera. I said, before we even got down this road, I said, look, we're going to do a test on dark gray mixes versus certified. And I guarantee you, at the end of the day, dark mixes are going to come up very dirty, very dark. Because when it comes to the gunmetal screens, they have the ability to accept and read white light. Now, if they sit there and deny this, if you sit there and says, well, no, that's not true, then where's your test demonstrations? Can you show me the same test I'm doing here? Where are your tests? Don't come on camera and say it's not true. Show us the test demonstrations showing that I'm wrong. Now, I've seen one of the fake, he did one demonstration where we questioned him a few times on the UV mix. What he did was he came out and he made the UV mix lighter. He made a lighter version of the UV mix so that way it would blend better with the lighter screens. Keep in mind that we have your original over here. And this is the color of your original UV mix. So I'm saying that anytime you go in and you basically will lighten your product so it looks good on camera to lie, you do know we have the original one right here. Which if you want, I can pull up my receipt from my PayPal account showing where I paid for this. So at the end of the day, buddy, yeah, this is what the UV mix looks like. He'll come back in and make a lighter version of it and say, no, it doesn't have that issue at the end of the day. That's why first time we saw that, him doing that, we asked him about the UV mix. He came up and said, I'll do the demonstration. He does the demonstration. It's lighter than what we have in the container. I said, they don't match. I said, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to order. We knew he was going to cancel. This is right around the time he was canceling orders left and right. We're going to order the UV mix, bring it down here and match it to what we have in here in the container to make sure they're both the same. He canceled the order. That's all we needed. The minute he canceled the order, we already knew, oh yeah, you're going and now you're making your products lighter so you can lie in front of the camera. Do you even understand that you have previous videos of the product showing it being darker? What? Oh my goodness, I swear I don't understand these people at the end of the day. It's like you're just like my cat at the end of the day. My cat will sit there and do some of the dumbest things on the face of the planet and then look at me thinking I can't see him. I'm like, do you know I can see you, right? I can see you right on top of the countertop, someplace you're not supposed to be at, and he'll stare at you real still, thinking, if I sit here still enough, maybe he won't see me. That's the equivalent. So when you do these videos, when you come out and you falsify your own product, you figure that, oh, no one's going to notice the demonstrations that I did like last week, compared to this one over here. That's exactly what you did. Like the black and white mixed paint that you still, to this day, have not done any demonstrations of showing you doing the exact same test and that demonstration with the 2, 3, 4, and 5 and putting it against your own products. He still hasn't done that yet. And that's him in the video, which is funny. Hilarious. It's actually him in the video doing this, but yet he still hasn't done this yet. Which is funny. It's hilarious. But that's why at the end of the day, I don't want people to think because when we do these great products and the great products are failing miserably over here, they don't pick up nothing at all, period. And he tells you, oh, but you got to go with our darker mixes. Don't do that at all. You will come up with a very dirty image. Oh, let's do this one over here. You will come up with a very dirty, dirty image. If there's no test of him doing this at all, period, don't do it. Commercial was kicking it. It's kicking it. Let's go to the girl. Go on with the girl. It's this one right here. And anywhere you come up, look at this. I can pick anything on here, and that product will come up that dirty. Now, just to make sure, because we know you're going to have some of you out there going to think, well, I don't have to buy this product. I just make my own. Yeah, we're going to make a couple of them for you. We're going to do the exact same thing. Exact same thing. It can't accept white light. It's black paint. Black paint, when they made it, was never made to accept white light. And people were making like, okay, we're going to make this to paint this to a wall. But what if somebody wants to use it on a projection screen? They want to accept white light with it. I never thought about that. No, they don't do that. It's black paint. Can't see white light off it. You have to have something there in order for it to be to see white light. Like we have something called a heightener. That's why our black screens can pull this high, tremendous white level. That's why I can go outside on a 150 at 4 o'clock in the evening and drop a snowstorm and watch it at 109 degree viewing while it reflects off my grass. Because there's a heightener in it, which we'll never tell you what it is. We can't tell you what it is. Even when we sign contracts and say they have to it's called a trademark secret. That's what it's called. It's a secret ingredient that only certain select individuals will even know about that. Like, Coca-Cola has one, KFC has one, all these companies. I think Coca-Cola has the oldest trademark secret in the world. Literally. So that's what it's called. So if you develop something like you make a special cake or a recipe and there's a certain secret ingredient that makes it boom better than everybody else's, that's called a trademark secret. And even though if you sign a contract, you don't have to give up that information. You could be the only one that knows what it is at the end of the day. But there are people, like I said, I've heard there are people that mind you. Someone has to know the trademark secret because how are you going to manufacture and make it? You can't do that all by yourself. Virtually impossible. Oh man, I would not want to be the kind of person that would know a trademark secret from a company, because after that, you have no life. Period. There's a form that you will sign, and in that form it tells them they have the right to tap your phones, follow all kinds of stuff, anything and everything. And they even come up with these suspicions or whatever, or paranoid state, they can do it. They can treat your life like you're under a magnifying glass 24/7 because you know something that's worth millions or billions of dollars that you could sell to some software, or not some soda company or so and so. You are being watched 24/7 at the end of the day. Bye-bye to a whole personal life that's gone. You get paid a lot of money at the end of the day. Yeah, it does come with even trade-off, but you don't have any privacy at the end of the day. They have access to everything. Of course, because anything could happen. There was an incident that happened with Coca-Cola where this woman did work in that facility with making that particular secret that they put into their products. And she was in the process of actually selling off some of the ideas to somebody for a lot of money. The FBI was watching her the entire time it was happening. They were at the house. They were there the entire time. You know, FBI, they'll pop up in your door just like United States Postal Service workers, gas workers, all kinds of stuff. But that'll be agencies walking through your house and you don't even know it at the end of the day. Yeah, they got word that she was basically going to sell off secrets of Coca-Cola. They got her too. They arrested her. Yeah. That's what it's called, a trademark secret at the end of the day. Any company has something special that makes their food different from everybody else, has it in there, has a trademark secret. Now, since our screens have 4 elements that make them do what they are supposed to do, they're considered to be trademark secrets. We have to have one for each one of them, and they are not cheap. Look at that. Just look at that. Look at the what I love about this, look at the advancement that the screen has over the white screen, right? White screen we have behind us, which is showing amazing advancement over top of that. But not only that, it is crushing Crow's product with no problem. Again, you can't go around calling yourself the best of the best unless you beat the best of the best. And that screen is extremely good. Let's go over here real quick. I'm going to pull this over here real quick. Now, see when we go back to the Ferris wheel, see how with the area right here where it gets really dark? I told you, it's 2 forms of contrast. You have dirty contrast and clean contrast. Watch when we go back to the Ferris wheel. You see that right there? You see how clean it looks here? See, I can see all the neon and all that stuff pushed through the blue sky in the background and with the sun. See how that's done? The night sky? See how clean that looks? You see how dirty it looks on this side? Because it can't see white light. You have to, even if you have a dark screen, you have to be able to accept white light. Even in contrast, you still have to accept white light. That's why when he sits there and say, oh, but his demonstrations are too long. My demonstrations aren't long enough at the end of the day because there's so much information that's a shame that when I watch these demos, like, that's it? That's all? That's it. There's stuff missing from the, yeah, there's a lot of stuff missing from y'all demonstrations. So much stuff missing from your demonstrations. You don't explain stuff clearly enough. You just come on there and you talk about the colors and this, that, and the other, and you do this all, show the projector and a dark environment, and I can do this, blah, blah, blah. That's all you do. Customer needs to see how it's going to look in different colors, and white levels, contrast, well-lit environments. They need to see all that. I'm quite impressed with the whatchamacallit, the Dark Star 9. I mean, not the Dark Star 9, but Daylight Screen. I'm very impressed with it. Very, very impressed with it. It's usually when they do these demonstrations against white screens, but doing this gets a great product. I mean, man. Well, I knew it was going to beat the crap out of your screen either way, but still, they don't do these tests at all. They ought to start doing these tests more often. That is nice and clean. Look how clean that is. Look how the white level, the letters are popping up here nice and white. This is called clean contrast. That is dirty contrast right there. It's not to be rude, man. Your stuff is coming up really dirty.
For a moment of indulgence, Wawa's new Blackberry Cobbler handcrafted beverages are the perfect treat.
Now keep in mind, we're going to buy more of his product, but then the day, like I said, we can't buy it directly from him because he's scared. So he'll basically cancel our orders. So we have to have a few customers that are going to be buying from him so we can get more products down here for more testing. And not only him, there's a company called Nox, N-O-X. I'm really interested in their stuff. There's one called Diamond Screens, which we found a couple of days ago. And we already did paint on screens already. I don't really see much from there. There we go. This is what I want to see. Now see how this is picking up right there, a perfect example. What I mean by dirty contrast. See how the contrast is coming up dirty? See that dark area where it's coming dirty, where it's nice and bright. It's producing that black level, but it's producing that nice, beautiful neon light here. And over here, where it says Tavern, is dirty right there. The screen's producing too much of a black level. Give me a chair. You got something? My curiosity's sparking. I'm gonna have to test your stuff against certifieds now, because your stuff hasn't been. You can't call your stuff the best of the best. If someone's gonna sit there and say their product is the best of the best, then you're gonna have to be tested against certified screens. The certified screens are the best. If you beat them, then your product can be worthy of being called best of the best. Look at that. That's pretty bad right there. Look at that. You don't even make out nothing there. Like I said, I saw the demonstration. You did with the Dark Star 9. A demonstration was complete hoo-ha. Because, like I said, you did it. Number one, you took a lighter screen. It really would have made a difference. And you put it against the Dark Star 9. But you made sure you did this in the dark. You made sure you did a lot of pretty colors. And you said, look, it's the same thing. But what about the contrast levels? You forgot about that, didn't you? Completely missed the contrast level part. Where did that go? But if they try to do contrast, I guarantee you, bar none, they'll do it in the dark. Look at that. Look at oh my goodness, man. And you know why people spend $5 grand for this screen? Like if I didn't have my technology right now, I'd spend $5 grand for that screen. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. This is why they're worthy of being in our pack. Beautiful done. Look at how beautiful that screen is. I'm talking about daylight screen. That's gorgeous. That is gorgeous. Gunmetal versus gunmetal. And the Frankenstein, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not dark enough to be gunmetal. Now this, the UV mix, you can consider to be gunmetal. It's dark enough to be gunmetal, consider gunmetal. But the problem that you have is you're not pulling white light. That's the problem. Maybe it's just coming up too dirty. Look how clean the reds are. Oh, beautiful. Reds are clean. You can see the shine coming off the bases and the candles. That is clean, very clean, beautiful. And look at it compared to the white screen. So you look at this right here. Compared to the white screen. This is your white screen, white wall, whatever it's going to be at your house. That's $5,000 projection screens. The reason why I told you why these screens cost $5 grand. Now, again, when you see them laying up against our screen, they wash out, they don't pull up. You're like, well, it's not worth the money. Well, again, like I said, they never tested their stuff against our products. Our product's a little different. But if you take this screen, like I said, at the end of the day, and you stick this up against a white screen, you're going to see the screen do things that it's going to be absolutely incredible. It's the reason why it costs $5 grand. It's worthy of its $5 grand. But like I said, look at this. Now you look at Crow's product over here. You see how dirty that's coming up right there? It's coming up dirty against the white surface. It's coming up dirty against the gunmetal screen. These are both gunmetals. We consider this to be gunmetal because the screen is dark. The screen paint's dark enough to be considered to be gunmetal. But the Frankenstein, no. Frankenstein's a gray, charcoal gray. That's not gunmetal at the end of the day. This is, man, beautiful. Look at the reds in that. Look at the reds. Beautiful. Gotta be to appreciate good technology when you see it. But I don't want anybody to think that at the end of the day that, hey, look, okay, so the gray screen paint products are obsolete. Yeah, they are obsolete. They are. They're old. But what if I go with a darker screen and I want to go into the realm of gunmetal? Well, you can put more black paint into it if you want, make it darker, but that's what you're going to end up with. All I can say is daylight screens, very well done. Very, very, very well done. I have never put them against a gray screen. White screens, yes. I know they're advanced when white screens are good, but against a gray screen, very well done. Beautiful white levels. Beautiful white levels. Crows products, man, you should not be selling this product. This product should not be on your website for sale at all. Doing this mess? No. Mm-mm. No, no, no. J&K 4K demonstrations.
Getting that from YouTube.
It was the night before Super Bowl, and I'm back. Montana and Rice relived their old glory, added to reap.
Well, that's enough said right there. Yep. That's enough said right there. Your product was never tested. Oh, I can tell and see that. I saw that the first time when the Phantom took your screen out. No, Phoenix took your screen out on white levels. I can tell that your screen wasn't accepting white light. I don't even know how in the world this individual or each delusional calling this product the best of the best. You can't even take on a certified screen at the end of the day. We're gonna make some darker mixes in the back. We just randomly gonna make some darker mixes. We're gonna see exactly how many darker mixes. You know what? Forget that. I'm just gonna go to Sherman Williams. I'm gonna order some dark gray paint. I'm not making any paint today. We're gonna go to Sherman Williams and we're gonna buy some paint that has nothing in it at all. Period. Just see how close it comes to matching that screen over there, the gunmetal screen over there. It is gunmetal, and get this right. The UV mix is gunmetal, but it can't see white light. It's such dirty, dirty, dirty images. It's not even funny. I sat there and told you that paint was very dirty. Oh man, it's dirty. This was nice. It's very impressive. That's the screen that beat the crap out of the screen a few minutes ago. Yeah. We're done. I got my next demonstration. I'm curious. This is out of my own curiosity. Mind you, like I said, I replaced my screen, my Elite screen. I want to see how this stacks up against it. Well, we already know what's going to happen. We've done this already. I'm just going to do it for the sake of just doing it. But I'll be back in. I want to do a demonstration of certifieds versus the gamer technology we have over here. This should be fun. All right, got to go. At least you guys know, like I said, we have to do these demonstrations so you know, because at the end of the day, they don't do these test demonstrations. They don't do them at all, period. Their demonstrations are simple, cut clean. Turn a projector on, they smear some paint onto a surface, they put it in a dark environment, and they get all up on top of the screen to see the difference, see the color, see the contrast, blah, 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 blah. And then this is what they do, literally, all up on top of the screen when they do these demonstrations in these dark environments. Yeah, this stuff don't work at the end of the day. This is nothing more than black and white paint. We can do the same thing ourselves. I'm just going to go to, I'm just going to Sherman Williams. I'm going to get some dark paint, just like this, do the exact same thing. I'm going to put nothing in it, just like we did with the Network Crows1176. Same thing, nothing new at all. All right, hope you enjoyed the video demonstration. Be careful when you're buying screen paint out there, people. At the end of the day, you're going to end up painting mud all over your screen. You don't want that nonsense. Got to go, and God bless. Good.